In sports, every single team, franchise, and organization have a few things in common that they would like to achieve, and that is world championships and to become a dynasty. Well, everybody but the New York Knicks. Sorry, Knicks fans. It's true. And since the start of the 2000s, dynasties have become less and less and less seen in sports. Sure, basketball's had their fair share of dynasties over the past years, but the sports like baseball and football, well, outside of the New England Patriots and the San Francisco Giants, teams have really struggled to garner that title of the illustrious dynasty. Now, football, you win 3 world championships in 4 or 5 years, and you're a dynasty. But baseball, to me, baseball's a lot different than any other sport. Of the 3 major American sports, basketball, baseball, and football, baseball is generally regarded as the hardest and most skillful game to play. The literal physics of baseball just do not add up and do not make sense. Baseball is the only sport where you hit the ball 2 out of 10 times and you're considered good. You hit the ball 3 out of every 10 times, you're considered elite. So when you're trying to make a list of what makes a dynasty in the game of baseball, there are just so many people out there with so many different opinions on how you quantify a dynasty in the game of baseball. There are just so many things that you have to cross off their list in order for that person to consider you a dynasty. Now, for me personally, here's how I define a dynasty in baseball. Firstly, how many championships do you have? And how long of a time period did that take you to win those championships? Did you win 2 and 3, 3 and 5, 5 and 10, 4 and 7? How many championships in a certain amount of time did you win? Secondly, World Series appearances and how many times you've not only won your division, but your conference. What was your record that year? How many 100 plus win seasons did you have? I need to know how dominant you were and for how long you were. And thirdly, your discipline. How well coached are you in your organization? Do you have the least amount of strikeouts every year as a team? Do you have one of the highest fielding percentages? What's your team's ERA? What's your bullpen look like? How does your team perform in clutch moments? To me, these are the things that when I'm looking at baseball dynasties and who could potentially be or become one, I take into account. I check off these boxes to see if they become a dynasty or not. And since those 2013 Giants, we have not seen a team become a dynasty. After the 2016 World Series, the thought was maybe the Cubs could become baseball's next dynasty after they won that World Series. That didn't happen. They never got back even close to the World Series. There are a numerous amount of really good teams right now in Major League Baseball. But there are 2 teams for the past 5 to 7 years that have stood head and shoulders above every other single team. In the NL, you've had the Los Angeles Dodgers, who for the past almost decade have been dominating, and I mean utterly dominating the regular season in the NL. And in the 2020 shortened MLB season due to COVID, the Dodgers finally capped off what they had been seeking for, which was that illustrious and elusive World Series championship. And over there on the other side of the league, in the American League Conference, the Houston Astros, who have been dominating the AL for the past 5 to 7 years, with numerous 100-win seasons, having one of the best teams of all time in the 2019 Houston Astros. They've been to 3 World Series and they've won 1 championship. Now, I will be fair and put a disclaimer by that championship. A lot of people have some questions and some doubts about if that championship is tainted or not from the Astros cheating scandal. But as far as I'm aware, there has been no evidence that's came out that said that the Houston Astros were cheating in the playoffs in 2017. But if you do have any information or evidence that they were cheating back then, please feel free to drop in the comment section down below. Let us all know what article, what link, where it is, so we can all go read about it. But this year, the 2022 Houston Astros have not been only one of the best teams in baseball, but they've had the overall top and deepest starting rotation in baseball, along with the best bullpen in baseball. And this isn't one of those years where you have a great 1-2 punch at the top of your rotation, and then the bottom 3 and 4 don't necessarily fall off, but aren't up to par as the 1 or 2. This year's Houston Astros team has not 1, not 2, not 3, not 4, but 5 starting pitchers in the rotation that could be a number 1 or number 2 in 3/4 of the league's starting rotations. Don't even mention Hunter Brown in the bullpen right now. But on top of all that, the Houston Astros bullpen has been the best bullpen in baseball. It's not even close. ERA, WHIP, home runs allowed, whatever number you want to go off of, they're pretty much top 1, 2, 3, or 4. Now, the funny thing about this Astros team is, Unlike years past where the team was offensively driven and pitching came second, followed by the bullpen at third, this year's team is driven straight away by the starting pitching. It's got to the point where the Astros score 4 runs or more in a game, they're most likely going to win that game. If you look back at the Astros in the World Series losses, you can see where the deficiencies were. In 2019, the Astros 3 and 4 starting pitchers in the rotation in that World Series, they were good, but they were not great. Followed by the bullpen absolutely having no ice in their veins, not being clutch at all. And in last year's World Series against the Atlanta Braves, the Astros starting rotation was on its last leg, final heartbeat, and the bullpen had almost no depth to it at all besides Kendall Graveman and Ryan Presley. The Astros starting rotation to bullpen flatlined as the Atlanta Braves pulled the plug on them in Game 6. This year it is the complete opposite. The Astros have too much starting pitching, and they have too many quality arms in that bullpen. And the offense is good enough to win them a World Series. Funny how that works, huh? So the question I pose to every single one of you, my fellow Houston Astros fans, pundits, and haters alike, if the Houston Astros win the World Series this year, do they, in your mind, cross off all the boxes in your head to become baseball's next dynasty? The same thing for the Los Angeles Dodgers. If they win the World Series this year, do they cross off all those boxes in your head to become baseball's next dynasty? Ladies and gentlemen, would love to know what y'all think in the comment section down below. I always love to hear y'all's thoughts and opinions. But don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel if you are new, because I have plenty more baseball content like this. And I'll see y'all all in the next one. Adios, mis amigos.
Hey, thank you for rocking out tonight. You could be anywhere in the world. You right here. I got my special guest, Tayaba Lee, man.
Yeah, we bringing this all from the Keystone State.
Chilling on the Empire State. So we run that entire state.